The undisputed hero of Fox's X-Men franchise, Wolverine, has appeared in 9 Marvel films, or 10 if you count the end of Deadpool 2. Although he's best known for the adamantium claws that pop out of his knuckles, his healing factor is actually his real power, and over the years it's possible that no movie superhero has gone through the ringer quite like he has. I'm Greg Elliott with Screen Rant, and here are the worst things Wolverine lived through on screen before his death in Logan.
Go! That was a B-29, Bob. There's no outrunning what's coming.
In The Wolverine, we learn that Logan was in Nagasaki, Japan on August 9, 1945, the day the US dropped an atomic bomb on it. He saved a Japanese officer named Ichiro Yashida by throwing him into a bomb shelter, but took the brunt of the blast himself, getting literally burnt to a crisp, which, healing factor or not, would not have felt very good. Not to mention, he was probably radioactive for a while.
Imagine if they were metal.
In Days of Future Past, Wolverine was the only person whose mind could survive the damage of being sent back in time. So, not only was the trip to 1973 extremely painful on its own, but once there he got shot a bunch, Magneto impaled him multiple times with rebar, then threw him into the Potomac River where he theoretically drowned again and again and again until Mystique finally rescued him. But none of that even holds a candle to the Weapon X process Logan went through to infuse his skeleton with adamantium. The procedure itself would have killed any normal person, but even though he survived thanks to his healing factor, it gave him some serious PTSD. And if that wasn't enough for you, now it's time to add shot in the head to the list. In X-Men Origins Wolverine, Stryker shoots Logan twice in the head, which in that version of the X-Men timeline at least, is how he lost his memory.
When they come out, does it hurt?
Every time.
And this sounds pretty minor comparatively, but back in the first X-Men film when Sabretooth ambushes him in Rogue, he gets ejected through the windshield of his truck, something that again probably would have killed a normal person, but only knocked him out for a minute. In X2, X-Men United, Logan takes on Lady Deathstrike, where she pretty much turns him into Swiss cheese. And in X-Men The Last Stand, Wolverine takes on the full force of Jean's unleashed psychic powers, which literally tore the skin right off of his bones while his healing factor simultaneously kept regenerating it.
You're a soldier, and you seek what all soldiers do.
And what's that?
An honorable death.
In The Wolverine, Logan's healing factor is compromised by a robotic parasite, but he still manages to survive taking on the Yakuza. He performs heart surgery on himself to remove the parasite. He gets sliced in half and shot with a bunch of arrows, only to then have his claws cut off, which did regrow with their original bone, but still, that's gotta hurt.
Guys, those are chrome-plated lugs. You gonna strip them?
Which brings us to Logan, which finally saw the end of the Wolverine. But before he died, he got blasted with a shotgun and beaten with tire irons, survived a psychic onslaught from Professor X, and then got beaten to a bloody pulp by himself, or to be more specific, the X-24 clone of himself. He was already dying by that point and used a serum to temporarily give himself a boost, but he was ultimately still overpowered by X-24, who impaled him on a fallen tree, marking the end of Wolverine's very long and brutal life in the X-Men movie franchise. So over the nearly 200 years that he lived, Logan was beaten, burned, impaled, shot, stabbed, ejected, drowned, and blown up, just to name a few. But hey, in the comics, Magneto ripped the adamantium out of his body and Hulk tore him in half, so it could always be worse. Hugh Jackman might be done with the role, but we're sure that we haven't seen the last of Weapon X on screen, so make sure to keep up with us at Screen Rant to stay up to speed on all things Marvel. I'm Greg Elliott, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, bub.